start again. Hello, I'm Vanessa. I write 1920s cozy mysteries as Averness, and I love writing with friends. And today I am joined by three of my very best writing friends, Gemma, AJ, and Jo. We're going to do some writing sprints, going to have a bit of a chat about how we write and how we edit. But first, we're just going to kick things off with an intro from everybody and a little bit about what they write, what they're going to write today, and how their work in progress is going. So, AJ, you are at the top of my screen this week, so I might start with you.
So I'm AJ Blythe and I write mysteries set in Australia. My current manuscript is set between Canberra and the Bunya Mountains in Queensland. It is still a work in progress, but because I've realised that my personality of my main character needs to change a little bit, which means she reacts differently and acts differently in situations, I've had to go back to the start and just edit her through because it's like a rolling ball. It gets bigger and bigger as you go. So a little change in scene one by the time you're getting to like scene 20 is a much bigger change. So I'm still going through editing that first 30,000 words. Um, and so that's what I'll be continuing with today. Gemma.
I write sapphic fiction and also mainstream fiction. So all of as a queer writer, all of my fiction has queer characters in it, but it is actually targeted at the mainstream audience, so that anyone could pick it up and read it. It's really contemporary women's fiction. I've got a few published novels, but I'm currently working on a new contemporary women's fiction novel about four friends. There's actually three friends and someone new, and how those friends are interacting. It's set across Australia and the UK. And I actually pivoted it a little bit this week. I realized that I needed something else. And so I've added that something else in just this week, and I'm feeling really motivated to get some words on the page today. Over to Jo.
Oh, thanks for that. I'm Jo McAllister. I write dark romance with humour, and my current work in progress is all about a couple of serial killers finding their way through the world. And yes, I'm just going to be adding more words to that current manuscript. So that's my plan.
I can't wait for the marketing copy for this book, Jo. It's going to be so interesting to see how you pitch it.
Oh, so
Very,
crazy.
very, you can be very creative in your blurb, I think, in particular, and in your marketing and your social media posts.
Yes, yes, that's the plan. Well, it's very much like I would say it's has the sort of feel of the small town serial killer romance, just like Bryn Weaver, but with the um, sort of steaminess of other authors, um, it, Bryn Weaver included. But yes, very similar to the book. So if people know Does It Hurt, which is a very well-known dark romance that I'm just trying to remember the author actually at the moment. Oh, by H.D. Carlton. So with the steaminess of something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Maybe next week, so I don't put everyone on the spot, including myself. Maybe we should do that next week. We should sort of do our elevator pitches
Okay.
for what
Yeah.
we're writing and what the comps are. That would be really interesting to hear.
Oh, the comps are the hardest part.
Yeah, they
Comps
are,
are the
aren't they?
Those
worst.
are,
I
yep.
Oh,
hate doing
hate it.
that.
I like listening to the Shit About Writing podcast. You know, people can send in their query letters to the literary agents that are the hosts of the podcast. And it's so interesting to hear the comps for all the different books and then to hear
Mhm.
their feedback on the comps. Gee, it's a real science to it. I don't know where I would start.
No, and that's the thing is that if you put down a title that you think is a good comp because of, I don't know, setting or tone or something like that, but
Mhm.
then that agent hated that book,
Mm,
then you've just lost your chance because, they're going
yeah.
to go, well, I hated that book if you're saying your book's like that. Even if you say it, the tone of or the setting of, it's going to put people off. And I'd prefer, I only ever provide comps if I'm absolutely told for that particular person, you must have comps.
Yeah, because it seems like you like walk this fine line between something well known and recognizable enough, but not too popular.
I,
Yeah.
It's
I
too old as well. It needs to be
Yes,
sort of
that's
within the last 5 years by the sounds of it. It's
yeah.
fascinating listening to it.
2 years.
2 years. Oh my
2 years,
goodness.
and you can usually have to do three comps. They have to be in the last 2 years. You can have one that's a little bit older, but nothing more than preferably three. Five would be stretching it. They can't be a blockbuster, so it can't be a really well-known name. You have to aim for sort of the middle of the range kind of author. It is really hard.
And that's why you're our expert, AJ. So if I ever
that's all
decide to
right.
try and pitch to Trad Pub, I know exactly who to talk to.
I I comped once, and there was a big event in my book and there was a big event in this book, and I thought, I just remembered reading it, and I'd read it a couple of years earlier, but I remembered the chaos of that event, and so I comped it because of the chaos of that event. You're comping three titles. So that was one of my comps, and the author and the publisher said, and it was unfortunately the publishing house said, but that was a murder and yours isn't a murder. And I said, well, no, and I was like, oh, because I wasn't comping the murder or the eventual crime scene. I was comping the chaos of the event.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was a perfect comp. And she must have thought I was just an idiot.
Oh
So,
God, of course you did.
it was that kind of, it was that moment of, I've got to get my comps better. I really got to
Yeah.
work on that.
Yeah. So sorry, I know we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole with this, but I'm always interested as an indie author. I'm like fascinated with the whole comping query process in comps.
Mm.
So is a comp supposed to be like the books that your book would sit next to on the bookshelf in the bookshop?
It's so they know how to market it, so they know who would be the readers, what's the style, where do you see yourself in the market? And so it's not necessarily who you'd sit next to on the shelf. It'd probably be, you're so similar to them that maybe they wouldn't want you sitting right next to them. But
Right.
but it's
Okay.
actually that kind of like, what's your vibe? And I can do a vibe. I vibe, I'm similar in authorship style to these authors, but the actual book, the one book, I find that really hard. I can rattle off, four or five authors that I feel like my style is similar to, but I can't necessarily rattle off the book titles.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really hard. And so you've got to make sure that you say, along the lines of the tone of this book, or you can be a little bit more specific like that, but it is really hard to do because what it's supposed to do is give that agent or publishing house a better idea of how your book is going to feel, like
Mm.
Gemma said, that
Yeah.
vibe type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
um, Compared to, if they picked up somebody else's book who like a mystery like mine, and mine is sort of, lighter in tone. Somebody else might rather a really sort of serious
Mm.
kind of mystery. So it's to let them see where you are like that. But it is really hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess like in the indie world, you still need to know all of that sort of stuff for your marketing. Like I've been doing a lot on Facebook ads this week, and that's a lot of what it is really looking at, tropes and similar books and keywords that are similar to the two other books that people have enjoyed. And it's, very much if you like this book, you might like this book. So, I think it goes across book sales in general that there's so many different uses. People want to read this something similar to what they've read before, but they want it to be different.
But to make it easy, like a cheap way to start is going to Amazon. And then if you find a book because usually it's easier to come up with a big name author because you go, oh, I know,
Yeah.
this huge name author, but I can't use that. But if you go to their book and then you go down in Amazon, it says people also bought, or
Mm,
it's the same with Goodreads,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you go
yeah.
there, what else people have shelved or something like that. So you can see that if somebody's reading, a mystery or a dark romance or something, then the chances are they've read more in that genre. And so you
Yeah.
pick it up
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Well, this week actually, Amazon, I think it's still showing it on my Amazon, but somebody messaged me on Friday night and they were seeing something a little bit different. But when you searched for a book in the Amazon listing, it actually had applied tags in the search listing to certain books. So like some of mine were tagged like cozy mystery and historical mystery. I had some that were cozy mystery animals, British mysteries. So the
Mm.
actual tags were appearing in the search. So that's probably also helpful for us in terms of seeing
Yeah.
what other books we think and then seeing if Amazon is tagging them the same way.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a match, then that's what you want to do. Although there's been a few instances where some steamy books have been accidentally tagged as clean and wholesome, so a few teething issues to sort out there from
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, you do want to
Um,
get it right, don't you?
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, somebody else had sent me a screenshot where the tags had been replaced by actual descriptions, like almost sentences
Oh,
in
wow.
search. So yeah, everything's been categorized. And I guess it's just for us to hopefully to be able to use to our advantage if it's correct, not
Mm.
always correct. All right. And then as far as my writing goes, I am still working through my draft of book three, my Lady Marigold series, but I've had a really good week with that manuscript. I actually, it might sound weird after so many different versions of the story and so many different drafts, but I feel like this is the week where I found the story and I found the story arc, and now I can actually see future books in this series, which I couldn't see before. So yeah, I feel like
That's
I've had
good.
a really breakthrough week. So really looking
Yay.
forward to
Oh, it's
knocking
Well
awesome.
done.
everything down. Yeah, yeah. Can't wait to dive in because I have just been doing all my chores today and not letting myself touch the laptop until we had this catch up. So I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in. So shall we do that?
Sounds
Mm.
good.
All right, just let me bring up the pretty timer. It doesn't look very pretty on this end. Let's see. Oh no, there we go. I gave us a fireplace today.
Lovely. It's the sort of day for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I thought. All right, see you in 15.
thanks.
Lovely.
right. And we're back.
Goes so fast.
I know, right? You just get so immersed. I have to keep glancing up to make sure I'm not lost track of the timer. All right, who wants to do progress reports first?
Why don't you go? You
Me?
go. Yeah, you go
Um,
first.
well, I probably progressed forward. Let me just have a look. About 288 new words, so that's good. And then just a bit of reshuffling and note taking of things to do, which probably won't end up happening because what tends to happen is I write the draft and then I write myself editing notes, and then when I have to switch back into writer mode to address those editing notes, I reject myself
Mm.
because I don't want to do them anymore. Um, so not always, but sometimes that has been known to happen. So yes, forward progress for me. How about you, AJ?
So I got just over 5 pages edited, but they were fairly clean pages, so there wasn't really too much to do to them. And I've just hit a
Great.
bit where I'm going to have to like write a new chunk, so it'll be a bit slower going next sprint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Are you gonna do that by hand or on the?
yeah, by hand.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
yeah, uh, Joe.
Um, yeah, so I got about 420 words, so I'm pretty happy with that, and I feel like the scene is I've sort of broken the back of the scene. I've just got to kind of finish it off now, so pretty happy with that. Yeah, what about you, Gemma? How'd you go?
Yeah, I got about 400, just over 400 words on the page. Look, it's all fairly easy, first draft and, just writing it. So for right now, it's easy.
Yeah, yeah. You got to enjoy when it's easy.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
you got to hold on to that memory when it gets hard.
yeah.
Got to just hang out for the good times in the hard times.
Mm.
Hey, I'm is this interested. Do you guys have music on, or do you listen to anything when we do the sprints? Because I know we don't have any sound on the video itself, and so I just wondered because I literally can't write in silence. I've got to have lots of noise.
Yeah, I normally would have music on if I was downstairs. My computer monitor setup is not working at the moment. I'm getting it repaired. So normally I have the music on downstairs. Up in the bedroom where I am right now, less so. Um, I just tend to, yeah, I don't know, don't tend to bother. It must be a habit, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just can't write in silence. And like Nicole from our Canberra Romance Writers group and we went down to local cafe last weekend to write, and it was so noisy. And I said to her, "Do you want to go somewhere else? Because I'm like fine with this, but I know not everyone is." And she was like, "No, no, I'm the same." And so we were just sort of sitting there. Yeah, I'm sure nobody else would have been able to stand the amount of noise, but it was fine for us. And yeah, I don't really listen to music at home, but I always have a podcast or the TV or something going on in the background.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
have music, but music without words. So when I'm
Yeah.
writing, so when I'm running like the draft, so it'll be yeah, something without words, because if it has, words, I sing. And so then I'm
Yeah.
not concentrating. But when I'm editing, I have to have silence.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I like soundtracks. I like listen to soundtracks. That's always I think because they're so atmospheric and they are part of the storytelling of the movie. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, words.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I think I feel the same. I feel like I'm a bit like Gemma. Like when I'm upstairs here, I don't tend to need anything because it can be quiet up here. But if I'm downstairs, who knows what's going on and who's home and how rowdy they are. And so then I tend to, yeah, just put on some music or maybe even just some of those the headphones that sort of block out noise. So
Mm.
just that because I mean, if you've got someone yelling at a game over there and somebody else over there blasting music, it's competing noise
Yeah, yeah.
downstairs that can be really distracting.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know, I can just tune it out. And it does come in, it is a handy skill. We've had a dog next door barking quite a lot the last couple of weeks, driving everyone else but me nuts because I just tune it out. Just half the time I don't even hear it anymore.
you're like, what dog?
Yeah, yeah. But
That's a mum skill. You get so used to
Mm.
just, the
that's a
noise all
good
the
point.
time that
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
you can tune it out.
Probably also because I'm so laser focused on our puppy, and so it's like you can only focus on so many things at one time.
And so the barking doesn't set him off then? Like,
Her, no,
sorry, her.
not really. It's funny though because it feels like since we got this puppy that suddenly we're surrounded by barking dogs in the neighborhood and we've never noticed before. So she'll do the occasional little, woof, but she's not barking responsibly yet. So fingers crossed it stays that way.
Maybe she won't even be a barker.
Hope so. That would be nice. That would be really nice. If she would just, stop eating things that require surgery, that also would be nice. So, oh dear. Yeah, she's a joy. She's 7 months now. Surely the almost the worst of the puppyhood is over, although most people who have puppies tell me no. It's
Oh,
probably quite some time still to come, but anyway.
my favorite boots did get eaten when our youngest dog, I mean, she's 11 and a half now, but yes, she was over 18 months when she did it. But uh, they, they definitely pass through it. We can have anything out anywhere practically now. And if
Yeah.
it's not, sorry, if it's not, to clarify, if it was meat related,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somebody left it on the floor, like, I mean, what's a dog going to do? But otherwise, it's if all kinds of clothing, anything can be on the floor, and the dogs won't touch it. But
Yeah. Anyway, it's helpful for me. I have dogs in my books, so no
yeah.
shortage of content. And characterization is already inbuilt. I just need to, bring her into it. And I have been posting a little bit of her on my social media as well. So that's been good fun. She loves just to come along and try and stomp all over the keyboard when I'm sitting on the couch. So good times. Speaking of social media, I shared in our group chat earlier today, Gillian McAllister's Instagram post. She has such a great Instagram account where she does a lot of storytelling through captions. So she does a lot of carousel posts with captions, and some of it's about her life, and some of it's about writing. And today she did one on how she edits, and she uses what she calls the box method. And it is very similar to how I approach outlining and editing as well. And so this sort of got me interested in how all of you, if you do outline, how do you outline? How do you approach editing? Well, I'm forever nosy about how everyone writes in different ways, so I can try and learn different little tricks and tips that I might be able to incorporate into my own writing. So yeah, just interested to know, do you plan and plot writing, and then also how do you approach editing?
Mm.
Are you
Who
spreadsheet
first?
people or are you wing it or
I'll go first. I'm a definite plotter. I can't pants. I tried it once and yeah, the book went nowhere because I went left
yeah,
and just never came back. Um, so I plot not as detailed as I did when I first started out, so it's a bit more general, but I do a sort of like I guess a mud map because it's a mystery, so I have to make sure that I've got red herrings and clues and characters all kind of straight in my head. And then I'll work out all the pivotal scenes. So, yeah, I'll just put a few notes about them for each scene about what has to happen. Um, and then with editing, I have to edit on paper. So, and I have my orange pen that I always use for my editing. And I can't, and I like my writing, I have to do it chronologically. So I have to write my draft chronologically. I
yeah,
can't jump ahead. I can write some notes about what might have to happen, but I can't write it.
yep,
It's the same with editing. I have to start at the beginning and just go through. And I might do two or three passes, but I don't do a pass that's specifically just looking at setting or just looking at a thing. I just look at the whole thing and I
yeah,
just go through and write it all on the paper and then type out, every 3 or 4 chapters, I'll just type them in to the manuscript and then keep going with the editing.
yeah. I used to just have a lot of trouble because the story, in a mystery, it's so big. and I could never find anything that where I could capture everything where I could see it. So even like butcher's paper was not enough. I
Mm.
tried Plotter, I've tried Scrivener, I tried Miro. I feel like I was like running out of options. I even tried doing an Excel spreadsheet at one point. But I just could never really capture it. And then I found this program called Millernote, and it has been an absolute game changer for me this year. If you want next week, I'll tee it up so that I can share some of my boards with you. But I use that for everything now. I can use it for plotting, character settings. I can bring in
Mm.
photos. I can do my research on there. It's just, yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant for me to use Millernote for everything. And also you can collaborate with other people. So my daughter does all my illustrations and my covers. And so when I want her to do some work, I can just create a board and then put in there my vision board. And then I just tag her and then she can come into
Mm.
that board and see, and she can ask me questions, and then she can drop in, drafts so I can see things as she's doing the work. So yeah, I've found that to be a brilliant tool just for everything, for plotting, editing, pre-production, post-production, like the whole works. I couldn't do without it now.
Mm.
What about you, Joe? What do you do?
Well, I just use a spreadsheet, but I am so interested in what you were just talking about. So I
Yeah.
think I'll have a look at that. But I do, I'm a pantser, but I record it on the spreadsheet as I go along. And that's just to help my memory and continuity as I go. And then I might, as I go along, put some things because I have a loose idea of what's going to happen, of course. So I sort of put those plot points, if you like, in the spreadsheet and sort of populate it a bit more each time I'm going along. But that's how I sort of try to do my first draft, and then after that, even more populating for that spreadsheet. But I too, when I was looking at that yeah, that particular post. Thank you so much for sending it through. I was just I was I just found it really interesting how she talked about the fact that this is my first pass, and as you can see, here's a character. I
Yeah.
don't even know who that character was. Like they're not even in the story anymore. Like they're completely deleted. So it's very interesting to me how such a well-known and best-selling author can definitely sort of have that
Mm,
process that is so organic that she can like delete a whole character, or she can't even maybe remember why that character was
yeah.
created in the first place. Like as a pantser, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. What
Yeah.
about you, Gemma?
I'm a real pantser too. I've tried to plot. I plotted one of mine and I got really bored because I
Mm,
knew what was going to happen. So for me, it's about needing to know, needing to write to discover what's going to happen. The characters really come to me as I'm writing rather than in the planning stage. So, but actually, I do a lot of planning in my head. So, for example, if I'm going to the school to pick up the kids,
hmm
or I'm driving around, or I'm just getting ready for work or whatever, I'm thinking about my characters and I'm thinking about what makes them tick. I really, this will make me sound crazy, but they're my friends. They're people I
Yeah.
know, and I know them, better than I know most people, as I'm, because I'm thinking about them a lot, and I'm thinking about how would they react to this, even though that scene will never get in the book.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
what would they do in this situation, or how would they respond, and different things like that. So I do a lot of that kind of character work, and hanging clothes on the line, thinking
Yeah.
about them for, you know, and it's great. I really enjoy that. It does mean that there's a lot of editing at the end because you do need to then strengthen the book to make sure that particularly if you're writing crime, for example, AJ, like those red herrings and so on, if you were
Mm,
doing it that way, but even in women's fiction, making sure that the storyline aligns, that the words are strong, and all of that, because you've been thinking as you're writing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like you might be high in intellection, the Clifton strength. I
Yes,
am too.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
you need to do a lot of thinking before
Yeah.
you can get things down on paper. Um,
One thing I do first, and this might be the marketer in me, but it's also it does help me with my planning, is I write the blurb first. Now,
okay.
and that does two things. One, I write it when I'm full of confidence. I love the book before I hate the book at the very end. But I love the book and I'm writing this blurb as in this book's going to change the world. But also, not really change the
Well,
world,
it
but
might.
I'm in that kind of excited mode.
Yeah.
The other thing I do about the blurb is it helps me to identify the characters, but that kind of the big broad arc. What
Yeah.
is the story doing? Now it doesn't mean I won't edit the blurb later, but and that's what I refer to. So that's my planning, is having that blurb. That's the main thing I have.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm a little bit of a hybrid in that I definitely plot the plot, but
Mm.
I think that I discovery write the characters and sometimes the story arcs as well. So the story and the characters are, to me, quite different to the plot. Like having the
Mm.
plot nailed down, I can't actually start until I have that, and then I can write
Mm.
everything else around that. Um and yeah, often, as I've experienced with this book, it takes several attempts to do that. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm the same, which is why I'm having to go back and rewrite my main character's personality because
Hmm.
I have the story worked out, I have the plot, but I don't know the characters all
Yeah.
that well. And I don't know how you see your story as you're going, but to me, it's a series of like photographs. So I will see a scene as like a still shot sort of thing, and I'll kind of feel the emotion that might be happening in that scene, but that's it. So I don't explore the characters. I've kind of got this picture in my head of what's happening at that time, but the character, of course, in a photo, you can't learn anything
Yeah.
about the character. So I do learn about my characters as I write them. Um, and that's probably why I also always start my story in the wrong place. I usually end up having to shift the
Oh,
start because it never is the right place. And I think that comes back to the characters.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, super interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I love hearing all about that. I really enjoy the writing routine podcast because that's basically what it is. It's an interview with an author every week and where they talk about their writing process. And it's just fascinating how different everyone is, like right down to the kind of font that people use
Oh, wow.
to write different drafts. Some people it's a really big deal, the font that they use.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what font do you use?
I just Times New Roman, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a Times New Roman person too. But I really flip back and forth. Like, I probably use different fonts, but not like deliberately, because I will often start writing in Google Docs, and then I'll go back to Word, and then I'll be in Scrivener, and then I'm in Vellum, and I tend to flip all over the place, but until I get down to the last draft, which I edit. The full final
Mm.
draft I always do in Scrivener because I can color code it to show myself, bit of a checkbox going, or the green boxes is very motivating as I go along. But and they all use different fonts, but yeah, always in Word I would definitely use Times New Roman.
And yet we all have different ways, but we all end up with a book at the
And
end.
that's exactly right. That's the most fascinating part.
That's the magic, I think. I think
Yeah,
it is a really magical process. And everyone working differently,
Yeah,
just adds to that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of magical processes, let's get back to the magic with another
sounds good.
script. Let me just reset the timer. It keeps coming up and deciding it wants to be 24 minutes. I don't think we want to do that. Let's change it back to 15 and see you after that. Whoops, I almost missed the timer that time. Fire was very comforting. In fact, I did get so immersed. My YouTube video finished and I didn't even notice. So deep in thought. Deep in thought. How did everyone go?
Yeah, good. Good. I did about 310 this time, so got some words down that were good. Yeah. How about you, Gemma?
Yeah, I got just over 400 again, so seems to
Awesome.
be my thing with these.
Yeah.
What about you, AJ?
Yeah,
Editing?
I rewrote this next page and then decided that still wasn't saying what I needed to, and I've just put a big line through it, and I'm about 3 sentences into writing it again. So
I understand.
that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's right. You get there in the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I heard someone describe it once as like opening a door to a house and it's the wrong house and you just got to back out and move to the next house till you find the one that you're looking for, the one that fits. So I like that.
Yeah.
I got to the end of my chapter and then I was just reading back over through everything to make that decision, AJ, but whether or not it needs a lot of reworking or not. I think it's probably all right. So might be able to move on to the next chapter tomorrow, which will be awesome. I did love in that Jo McAllister post that she said, she has 40 boxes for the 40 scenes or chapters. And then if she gets to one that doesn't need any changes, she gives herself the day off. I definitely need to do more of that. Always got
Yeah.
that temptation just to move on to the next thing. But rest is important too,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially for necks and hands and eyes. So yeah, it's good to have a little bit of a break.
But it is a hard juggle when you're working full time too.
It
Working
is.
full time and then and writing, and sometimes when you're in the thick of it, you just have to keep writing too. But yeah, taking those health breaks when you need them and when you feel you need it. I think listening
Yeah.
to your body, listening to when you need a break mentally or physically.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely need to keep that in mind. All
I
right.
have, this is
Yeah.
so I'm sticking it out. I have my reward flower.
Oh.
I don't know if you can ever see it
Oh
with this.
no,
So
it's
I might have
getting
to wait till next week when I don't have all the family and the dogs and everyone, which is why I've got the headphones on. But
yeah.
my reward flower is a little, oh, there we go. You can
Oh, you
see
can
it
see a little bit of
there.
it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A little smiley flower, and each petal and the face and the stem and each leaf are numbered. So there's 20. And
Yeah.
so I work out about the word count I'm aiming for and divide it by 20. And then I write it down at the, so if I can get that back again, at the bottom is a little list.
Yeah, I can see the
And
list.
so
Yeah.
at the moment, it's every 4,600 words
Oh
gets
my
me
goodness.
there. So I have tiny little rewards. So every time I hit that word count, like it might be like at 23,000 words, a hot chai latte and one chapter of a book that I can just sit and read in the sun, no guilt because
Yeah.
I've hit 23. So that's my little motivation thing. Just yeah, that few minutes, just they're not big, they're just little tiny.
Yeah. That's awesome though. I love that. I'm gonna start doing that.
And then I also color in the number on the flower. So by the end of it, he's a little colorful flower.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
Cute.
cute. You should post that on your socials.
Yeah, I
Your,
should,
your
shouldn't I?
progress, the progress of the flower.
Yeah. So yeah, so I have things like giving myself 10 minutes of craft time or reading or chocolate. That's an important one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Because it can
yeah.
just get a bit all consuming, I find. Like yeah, you do start to feel guilty for sitting down and knitting or reading a book becomes really hard because I always sort of think, oh, I should be doing some writing
Yeah. If
instead of
I've got
doing
time to
this.
read, I should be writing. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
But yes, just we keep ourselves accountable, and if you keep telling everyone else to look after themselves, then hopefully you're talking yourself into doing it as well.
Yeah.
All right, what's our plans for the week? Any goals?
Writing wise, I think, yeah, just more words on the page. Actually, that is one thing I do spreadsheet, is my words on the page.
Yeah,
with the goals and that kind of thing. So I actually haven't set it up for this one because I'm fairly new into it, but I think I'll set that up.
Jo?
AJ, a little bit. Oh, Joe here.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going, adding more words. Yep, that's what I'm all about for sure. Yeah, what
Yep.
about you, AJ?
I need to pick up the pace with my editing, so I'd really like to knock off a couple of chapters of
Mhm.
editing this week, probably like, 4 or 5 if I can, because otherwise this is just never going to meet that conference deadline that a few of us
Yeah. Yeah.
have. So,
I don't know though. I mean, like what did you say? 5 pages in 15 minutes. I'm like, that's a pretty good pace. Like, I wish I could edit that
yeah,
fast.
they were easy pages. So, yeah, like I find that when I write my drafts and the words come really easily, they're usually fairly clean. It's when it's hard going with the writing, then there's a lot of editing. And you can see it
Yeah.
as I go through. I'll get chunks where it's just intense editing, and then other
Yeah.
places where it doesn't need as much. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna just have a good look at this. I really liked that idea of one chapter a day of editing and giving yourself the day off because I think the closer I get to the end, the more likely I am to really start to hyper focus and to stop doing a lot of things. And I don't think it's very good for me. So I'm really going to try and pace myself. I think, like I sort of had said to Nicole, my critique partner on Friday, oh yeah, now I'm like, now I've got this. I'm going to get this to you at the end of the month. And now I'm like, I should just actually probably give myself a bit more time than that. Like I've still got till August to publish this.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask, do you have
Yeah.
a release date?
I
Yeah.
don't have a release date. Well, it is actually up for pre-order with a release date of January. So I'm way ahead in that
Yeah,
respect.
you're doing well.
But I would like to get it published in August. Um, but I need to sort of factor in about 6 weeks for editing and proofreading. Um, and then probably a month for my alpha and beta readers. So probably cutting a little bit fine, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
And August is creeping up so
It
fast.
is.
It
It is.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a bit scary, really. But anyway. All right, that's been fun. Thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with me. Look forward to chatting with you more next week. Hope you get lots of writing done this week,
Okay.
and I shall see you next time. Bye.
Lovely.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.